Good evening. I put the door camera. There we go. Good evening. Welcome back, everyone. Evening, Stephen. So, hi, Andy. Sorry you can't join us. I will do one of those Saturday streams one day that you can join. So, evening, Joseph, you're still here. Back with more 46. Why not? It's funny because I almost missed the stream start because I was just messing with the Gus or the Pico Gus, listening to mod tracker music and lost track of time almost. It was jamming out as that card is so good at doing. So, how's everyone doing tonight? More retro because I just feel like the 46 has a lot more stuff that we can tap into than we did last week. Indian Bruce, welcome. And, you know, I don't know, the 4666 is such a quintessential, like, 90s computer for me that we didn't do that much with it. So we need to load some more games on there, maybe a few more pieces of software, see which games. I'm curious to see now that we have kind of a bit of a smorgasbord to pick from as far as, like, sound devices. And maybe we'll mess with the Gus too for testing other sounds on it too. But I do like the Ultra Gus part of it, or the Gravis Ultrasound, sorry, which is just a phenomenal piece of equipment to have. So, Reverend, welcome. But it just also, like, I want to have more DOS games because honestly, while I played DOS games, I came into PC world more around this 46 era. So there was a lot of earlier DOS games that I missed out on that I haven't explored. Now, we do have a gamepad this time. Ooh. So this is the QuickShot gamepad that we actually unboxed a while back, and it's actually pretty decent. Interact PC Gamepad 6, patent pending. I think it's the same as the QuickShot, but it actually is pretty decent. It's extremely plasticky. You can probably hear some of the clicking here, but it plays really well. I think we used this for Jazz Jackrabbit when I did the stream on that, so... yeah, sorry about that, Bruce. Hopefully everyone's staying safe. There is, of course, a pretty big hurricane coming in right now over the coast, so hopefully everyone is staying safe and dry. I know it's probably going to impact a lot of people, unfortunately. Hurricanes just suck. There's no way around it, so if you have to go and watch that, absolutely. Don't feel like you have to stay to watch me ramble on. But anyone has any suggestions for DOS games, feel free. Otherwise, I'm just going to look at a few and test a few. I have, like we did last time, I do have my laptop over here on the side, and I can basically FTP anything I need over. So pretty much just about any DOS game can be acquired or tested. There's, of course, a collection of games that may be, speed sensitive, problems like that. But most games from the early to mid 90s should be fine, really. Yeah, and that's the thing too. I agreed. I didn't like you played a game on PC with a joystick and, flight games, TIE Fighter, all that stuff, great. But then you started playing games that were platforming like, and that's not really was the strength um of the PC platform. I mean, yes, there were definitely good ones, but consoles had it locked down, no denying. Excuse me. But the gamepad is nice to have because the joystick is really just for, flight sims and that, etc. So it doesn't work very well because, I mean, you could play Doom with the flight stick, but it's not really practical or conducive. It's really odd to do that, but you can. So having a gamepad actually enhances a lot of those DOS platformers, as long as they support it. But I would like to get one of those Gravis pads everyone seemed to have either had or they had in magazines at some point. But there was one game I wanted to try first. Switch over to the regular view here. So we're in our DOS here, of course. I really should probably try that, and that probably supports Gus, doesn't it? We should definitely try that tonight. I played the sharer version of that. I think it was on one of my demo discs back in the 90s. I think that a lot of us experienced games that way. I certainly did. And I think there was a demo on a cover disc on a magazine that I tried. One was Fall 2097, but I was playing by myself, and it was okay. But you're probably right. The gamepad, and I'm pretty sure that one is a full, like, Gravis Ultrasound supported game, too. So definitely check that out tonight. Yeah, I think it's just, for me, Gravis became the almost poster child for, like, game controller on the PC. Good or bad, take it for what it is, but that's what I associate with, the typical one that looks like a PlayStation controller, but it had a little nub you can screw in, or the SNES one, and, or are they good? I honestly don't know. I never had one, but it feels like that's the one they were putting in all the magazines, and which is why this one is so surprising how good this one is. So, All right, Bruce, stay safe and hopefully nothing bad happens. So, uh, oh yeah, I guess so. Oh, Jaguar, yeah. That's one I would. It's one of those. I'm sure you guys have a similar thing, but there's systems that would be neat to have, but ones that I can't justify owning. Jaguar, CDI, 3DO, things like that. Every time I see one pop up locally, I'm like, that's, you know, unless it falls in your lap or you're very passionate about that platform, so be it. But it's not one of those top tier of my list. So anyway, we're going to initialize network, as probably some of you remember. If you don't, this initializes the packet driver for the network card and then starts the DHCP request to get an IP from my router. So there we go. Now we have a connection. We have DHCP request sent, and we can start our FTP server. The first one I want to try, actually, it's pretty funny. I'm using, so some of us probably, maybe some of you did too, back the Amiga Tank Mouse USB one, and that's what I'm using for my laptop here. It's not exactly a one-to-one for the original, but pretty close. Actually, let me have the other one here. Yeah, this is the original Tank Mouse. You see it's a little more beige. This is the original, obviously. It's a little smaller, and the button clicks are a little more like, I don't know, very iconic Amiga to me, but this one is much clickier. It's like a real click. But it's wireless and it's cool. It's a little light, but no, it's a neat throwback. And I end up using it for work sometimes because I just need a wireless mouse. Little did they know that I'm playing or messing around with an Amiga mouse. All right, so we have the FTP server started on our 46. First one I wanted to try and transfer over as terminal velocity because I'm curious to see how well it runs on here, honestly. It's copying over there. Shouldn't take too long. Because I think terminal velocity supports ultrasound. I mean, to me, the Amiga Tank Mouse looks a little bit like, you know, me peeling potatoes versus my mom peeling potatoes. I just get that chonky, little bit like a Cybertruck, I guess. But anyway, I'm pretty sure terminal velocity supports the ultrasound. We'll see. I'm fairly certain it does. We'll find out. But it's one of those games that I always thought was cool to play, but I never got very far in it. I had the shareware version again, so I'm not going to play it too long. But I feel I should have it on a DOS machine, even though I associate it with a faster DOS machine than a 46. Probably more a Pentium era game for me, especially with max settings. I did, Pixel asked about playing Fast Doom. I do have that downloaded. I've never tried it, so that's going to be fun to mess with. I did make sure it ran, but I haven't played Fast Doom at all, and it's fascinating. So we'll look at that in a minute. I was very unaware of that thing existing. All right, we have copied that. We're going to disconnect. Go to 10. And then we have that there. So we're going to do, let's see, look at see what the structure is on that. Fantastic. Yeah, that's right. It's really bulbous and chunky. So PK unzip C amp W or TV zip to C games TV and there we go. Now it should extract everything. I'll start a subdirectory anyway. Oh, dang it. Maybe redo that in that case. So I thought it was not a subdirectory, it wouldn't have one, but it looks like it does have one, so I need to extract it directly to the game. So yeah, we can import it. So CD I'm trying to be good about keeping it clean in this one. Because I just have had, like, I've built these machines, and I'm sure many of you have too, and the game or the system just end up being super cluttered with random junk and stuff, and who knows what. So I'm trying to keep this one clean in a usable format or a usable way for me. So, all right, let's, what was I doing yet? PK unzip. And the reason I'm putting in a temp directory is to not muck up the games directory. Same thing there. Because I don't know, I'm enjoying the challenge of just having this as a DOS-only machine, although I've been tempted to install Windows 3.11, but I'll have to prepare another machine for that, I think. A little faster 46. So ctemp d.zip to C games and D. There we go. All right. Yeah, just about. It's an interesting one, and it's one of those, like, every time I see it in real life, you almost do a double take because it looks so out of place. It really looks like it came out of the game Hunter on the Amiga. It was on Atari as well. Very low resolution polygon based 3D game. Ran slow as all muck, but it has a very unique style to it, and that's what it feels like the game that that vehicle belongs to. You know, people love it, they buy it, so that is what it is. But it's an interesting vehicle. All right, let's press setup in here. Setup exe. Let's see. Sound setup. You must run ultra mid. Okay. So we're gonna exit out. Make sure the Gus is initialized. And then we're going to go to CD drivers, ED ultra SND ultra mid. I should really just create a batch file so I can just do that directly without having to go into the directory, but here we are, flipping it. World, anyway. You know, I haven't really at all. When I was a kid and I had a Windows 3.11 and a DOS machine, you know, I was learning and I didn't really have access to download that kind of stuff. So I haven't really done any of the GUI launchers. Now, there's plenty of them that looks like they're great. And if you just want like that turnkey, I want to press enter and play a game, they're probably awesome, but I haven't messed with them. I wanted this to be just pure command line because it's fun. But there's a lot of cool ones. I know some people swear by those launchers. I can't name any on top of my head. But you also have like, you know, command interfaces like Northern Commander and that kind of stuff. So a lot of options. But in this case, I'm running it just pure. All right, let's do this again. Setup, sound setup. There we go. Nope. I want to do a advanced Gravis Ultrasound. It's something a little interesting to me is that, and maybe it's a bad comparison, and I'm just not doing apples to apples here because the ultrasound was, you know, a pretty premium sound device versus the Sound Blaster random emulation. But there's something with the bass so far. It has a bit of a more oomph to it, at least from what I've heard in my limited experience here. So it did sound okay. One, okay. The music, of course, is actually really good in terminal velocity, so... Here, never know. Hey, I'm live, I just got a notification. Turn that up a little bit. The interesting thing with terminal velocity is that this music just loops like forever. Double check this. There we go. But as a teenager, when I was playing this the first time on my machine or whatever, I thought this sounded so cool. That music was so badass. Oh yeah, it's not running great on this 46. It probably needs a little more horsepower than we can provide here. I played this on my P100. I think we have to turn down some settings to make this play. And I'm not sure I want to play this necessarily. I just wanted to see what it sounded like. So I was pretty sure it had Gus support, which it does. It's great. Option. Graphics. Image quality 46. Sky texture off. 46. No, we need low detail. No. Normal. Oh, we can do, try gamepad. See what happens. The game is running, or the, kind of sluggish here, but yeah, it's not a fast game, but this needs faster. I mean, this is a pretty late, game for, playing on a 4666, but I mean, that's kind of what you had, right? Music is so cool. Yeah, same. I did play the shareware at BCF a couple years ago now, or maybe it was last year. I was able to find the actual box version, which was awesome. That was a big surprise. I actually just now won an auction for Wing Commander 3. It was one of those, like, I just threw it on a bid for, like, it was a starter bid of like $6 with a few bucks of shipping, and I just won it. So I'm like, great, getting a box copy of Wing Commander 3 delivered for like $12, so. Oh, sluggish. Sounds good, but you know, I'm not sure if this was on 3DO. Oh boy. Oh, the gamepad is so... This is going great. Let's throw up. I don't think it likes the gamepad, or it has to be calibrated. Yeah, I'm gonna... Whew. Better to do keyboard on that one. Not sure. Let's see. Can we turn on anything more? Lowest settings. This really is a it really is a Pentium game. But it looks about identical to me, but feels like it's not applying the settings. Yeah, this is not a smooth experience, but the music is cool, so that's all that matters, right? Yeah. That's virtually unplayable. And it's weird because the settings didn't seem like they changed much. Like it was that sluggish or whatever, but I just want to see that music. It's not a game I would enjoy on a 46, that's for sure. So, that's a registered copy. Sure. I do have the box for it, so, you know, I do own it. Technically. Let's see. Now, one that was requested in Discord was Dreamweb as well, which is a kind of like a cyberpunk style game. Let me know other suggestions as well. A few other ones. But otherwise, I was scrolling through the list just to see kind of what games there are, because there's so many games for DOS, and it's such a broad spectrum of different games. Also, you know, some that are pretty late, but it would be pretty fun to find more that support the GUS. Otherwise, I'll just that's what I do sometimes, when, especially like if I'm not loading up a system like smack full right away, what I'll do is I kind of cherry pick. I look through the list, like that's how I loaded my Amiga. I was looking through, like, here are all the ones I remember nostalgically. I'm gonna get those. Some games I remember seeing, I'm gonna get those, you know, and things like that. So, there was one game I was supporting the GUS. I saw it earlier, but yeah, there's plenty more. I'm looking through my shelf too, because it's interesting, because I didn't get into PC gaming until a little bit later in general. I was on the 46, but I didn't have that many games. When the Pentium era came around, and Pentium 2, etc., that's when I bought most of my big box games. So that's when they're from. But there's plenty more to pick from, so. Getting through real quick, because there's definitely one game I know that I do love. I'm curious to see what that sounds like, if it has GUS support. But instead of doing it, I'm probably just going to do directly from copying it over from a zip file, because it's easier on here. Yep, it is. That game is Black Gold. Black Gold is I think I played it before, but it's a great, like business simulator. You're running an oil company. I'm curious to see what it does with the music. Press it. What I've found is that if I copy stuff with FTP server, straight up, using the file structure, it does not like it, and it wires. Yep. And then we need to transfer it. Because it's, you know, you zip it up, it is one big file, and it seems like the MTCP protocol, whatever, the software handles it a lot better. So, $7, yeah, I remember that. I remember seeing it anyway. But what are some of the I know that everyone's a different age or whatever, but what are some of your favorite DOS games? I know we have, the big hitters, Doom, Duke 3D, Descent, that kind of stuff, but are there any games that you played that were, like, lesser known or ones that you really got into? I was a big strategy nut myself, too, and, played all the Command& and Conquers and all the... I was trying to get up, like, vacuum up every RTS I could for a while there, and that was kind of what I was into. But also, it was early on for me figuring out how... Transport Tycoon took a lot of time, too, for me. Figuring out how to run a DOS computer. That was not a trivial thing as a kid, so... let's see the temperature's there. Sure is. PK... PK unzip. Zip to see games. See. Yep. It's the same developer that made Ports of Call. They did, it's a German company, I think, that made a lot of different, switch the text is in German. They made a lot of business simulator games like this, and if you play Ports of Call or this, the graphics are almost not interchangeable, but they're very similar. So, that's true. I spent a lot of time on Warcraft too. Definitely that one, which is weird. I couldn't get it to work last time. I was complaining about the CD even when we installed it from scratch, so I'm not sure what was up there with the CD. So you'd think that it should be fine. Baldur's Gate, but sound black. Go. Sound is on. F2. Graphic. It's Sound Blaster or nothing. Still starting. Not much options there. Yeah, Quake 1 is DOS. Wasn't there a special version of Quake that would run on a 46, I think? Not fast, because it's expecting the math processor and everything. Freeze up? No? Or this is the same one. Yeah. Yeah, this is not the game I was thinking. At all. Huh. It's completely in German, so that makes it a little tricky. Fine. Don't know how to quit. You'll end it. Yeah. Yeah, this is not the game I was thinking at all. Well, actually installed. I have the floppy for it, so let's do that. Black Gold was called Oil Imperium. Maybe I mentioned that and I played it first on the Amiga. Yeah, my friend and I used to play Hot Seat and play that a lot. So, see if the discs work. I guess we'll find out. Disc 0, Disc 1, Disc 2. Weird, because the same name is Black Gold, but I don't know where or what region of versions they call it Oil Imperium or not. But that's the one we had. So, I'm gonna delete that one because I don't think I'm gonna play a German game. So anyway, cool. Let's actually put it in the floppy. See if it actually works. I haven't heard of Kill Blaster. Sounds familiar, but I don't remember what that is. So, and yeah, that's the thing. Like anytime you were messing with this stuff, getting the stuff to boot and getting the right amount of memory and all that stuff was just awful. Especially as a kid. So, Black Gold version to install. Ooh, we need 1 megabyte of memory on your HD. Tandy version? Oh, man, I'm gonna try that sometime. Adlib and Tandy, so. Which one should we install to? Did it give me an option to where to install it? I guess not. I did. That was... Oh, I put it in the wrong... I'm smart. There we go. And now it's like, especially with more experience, you know, messing with machines like this and understanding it better, it's a lot more enjoyable to do this. And also, you have Google. You can just research something now, which you couldn't do back then, right? So, um, but yeah, Zargon, I definitely remember hearing about. Brick sounds vaguely familiar. Kill Blaster. What kind of games were they? What, what is on these floppies if it's just... These can't be freaking 1.44 on 3 floppies. Yeah, DOS didn't hold your hand as much on that same way, but I think it's just, you know, I feel like DOS has gotten more exposure lately. There's several like good YouTube channels and streamers that focus on DOS only. There's so many games in DOS that if you can dig in that forever, not all of equal quality, obviously, but there's so many. And it's interesting because maybe I'll take a picture at some point, but it's over in the corner back here now where I used to film. I have 4 machines set up. One's an Atari ST, one's an Amiga, and then there's 46 that I usually have over there, and then a Macintosh about the same era, a Power PC Mac. And um, EG1, that's where I dropped it. Really? Wow. I think, what was the command we did? I could do Xcopy, but I could have sworn there was a command we did that was like move. But we'll mess it out later. But here's what I'm trying to avoid. It's just these sprawling installers dropping stuff everywhere. But I'm a big Amiga fan. I'm a big Atari fan. You know, I love all these computers. But the difference is pretty stark, and you really can see why the PC took off. Because this is a 40, you know, you get the 46 with Sound Blaster and a hard drive. And it's something that many of us took for granted around then. And I sure did, you know, and it was just clone stuff and it was fine. But it blew the computers that came out before out of the water because like they couldn't compete and they were not, you know, custom hardware, custom chips like the Amiga, for example, which didn't update with the time. And as much as you're playing like an Amiga game and you hop to the 46, and here you're playing, you know, full 3D games at, you know, reasonable speeds, and the capabilities was just so far beyond what the Amiga could offer, for example. So, um, well, you certainly can today. They're still being developed. So, if you run a Amiga with an accelerator in it, you can run Amiga OS 3.9, I want to say, the most current one. And it supports a lot of stuff, and that would be fun to mess with. And actually, it's a thing you could do if you're so inclined. Now, maybe not your daily driver, but it would be possible. So, let's see. Start. Wait. Good error. Maybe we'll do a clean boot, and we will see if that helps. Yeah, and the vampires are interesting too because it lets the Amiga run at just absurd speeds. Hey Johnny, welcome. Welcome back. We're just rebooting our 46 because it crashed trying to run a game. And this game may not even work, but I have many memories of playing this on the Amiga. It's an older game. 90. Still checks out. One of those, like, I'm not sure if you can see this. Yeah, I suppose I should, but it feels cleaner having nothing. Look at where was the floppy in this envelope, do you think? I can't quite tell where it was sitting in the sealed envelope. Hmm. It is just like permanently burned in there. Probably the glue and stuff coming through. But yeah, it is just like a nice floppy. This is not a floppy. This is the imprint of these floppies that were in this bag. So that's pretty fantastic. It's like one of those, like the box is pretty flimsy and everything. So, Mizuka, welcome. Huh. Well, that's neat. Oh, smart. I did the thing. I forgot floppy in the drive. There we go. I almost like, oh, do my hard drive crash? I'm going to try only extended memory. I know some older DOS software doesn't like when you're doing too much with that kind of stuff, so let's try it. Don't think that's going to help either, but no. It's interesting. I get the same error. I wonder if it's one of those, the process running too fast, and you have to downclock it, because I know Monkey Island also has a similar crash, and I think you have to use utilities or turn off the cache in, well, let's try that in the BIOS setup and see if we can turn off some cache and just try it, slow down the machine. I've had good luck with Monkey Island to do that, so we can try that as well. I have time now to get into the setup here. I think we can do some of that. And I know that, for example, you know, the Pentium 166 and the Pentium 100 and things like that can be slowed down really well. So, let's see. All right, what we got here? We have flexible drives, memory base on system, all memory cache off. Probably the only one we can set. This is a very basic BIOS setting, as you can tell, because I mean, this is like a home machine, right? And I'm sure it was used in businesses too, where this came from actually. But it was, after all, mostly sold to the home consumer market. So, yeah, normally you can turn on more cache, but, and the cool thing with the memory too is I'm using Phil's excellent boot up menu that you can select which memory to use, so it can just run with just a conventional memory and see if it likes it without a memory manager. Because yeah, some of the older games just aren't, you know, compatible or designed for that. So I get that. So maybe we'll run with just a base memory and see. Now, unfortunately, since we can't offload software and drivers into the high memory, that gives us a lot less memory. So it's funny how much worse it is to do this kind of stuff with the older games. The newer games at least handle that a little better. So we'll do just conventional memory and mouse. So now we have 559. So not a ton, but we'll try it. And now it works. See? Could try Monkey Island for this too, but yeah. Oh. I should probably actually, I forgot. I installed this correctly, so I need to actually look in the manual and see the copy protection, so pardon that. Try it again. It's a very, the manual is just like this little pamphlet here. So let's see. Code card. Do I have a code card? The music in this game on Amiga is fantastic, but I don't know that I have a code card. This is actually a sealed game when I got it, so... There it is, on the back here. No one take a copy of this here. Let's see. 2 characters, 7, and Y3. Hey! Legit. I do... Oh god. Not sure how this is gonna work here. Oh yeah! Hey! I'm using the gamepad for this. This is actually really... I'm not gonna play too far now because I want to test other games, but this game is really fun actually. It's a mini management style game where you're running an oil company in the like 80s to I think Dallas basically. We'll use the mouse instead. The gamepad is really useful when you're, or gamepad joystick, whenever you're getting into some of the action sequences. We gotta take the high-rise office here because it's cool. a lot of replayability. It actually is hot seat, and it's fantastic to play hot seat. Remember this game here. We're going to invest. Go to Alaska first. I need the permission to drill in Alaska first. I don't remember how to play this game. Days go faster too. Computer. There we go. I gotta buy oil field. I gotta buy in first to be able to do something here. So ooh, expensive, but I think these are pretty good for. Well, yep, there we go. Here comes the hell no, I'm gonna drill myself here. So I have to keep, in the top right corner is a scanner that shows you where the drill is. You have to keep that in the middle, otherwise the drill pipe will break and you have bad time. Adlib isn't too bad, but the Amiga music on this one is really good. Really fun hot seat. My friend and I used to play it all night long, basically trying to build our oil empire. The sound is PC speaker, so down here is like, what is that? And it was a PC speaker blasting off there. All right. Oh, what was calling? Don't know how to exit the computer. Whoa, that was quick. No, I'm not going to sign the contracts. Like you get a bonus by delivering stuff. So, hey, Pixel, welcome. You have to buy. And again, we're gonna play this game very long. I just wanted to mess with it a little bit here. Really, this game you just lose hours pretty quickly here. Buy a recycled oil tankers, and now have some capacity. And then each month you can basically sell your oil stock that you drilled up. So it's a business management game, but it has a lot of like interesting. Now it gets a little tedious after a while, especially when you have a lot of oil fields. But not only do you have to drill the oil fields, you also have to like put out fires when an emergency. You can do espionage, counter espionage, sabotage, that kind of stuff. And for example, here you can investigate other people, or take like these are effective investigations. So we'll do that. Oh no, it's sabotage. If you investigate, you basically have a running thing that protects you against sabotage, but then it's like a level system, so you spend more money. And I don't know, it's a really fun game where you just slowly progress and your empire gets bigger and bigger. Like, again, it gets pretty tedious towards the end, but it is a really fun one to play, again, especially hot seat. So, but yeah, I was just curious to see if it worked, and it sure does. So we're just going to quit this game. That's the one I was thinking of. But what was the, I forget, what was the command to move? Move? Move. Because you can't. Move. P1. You see games. PG. Enable to open source. The moving files only? Yeah. I don't remember last time we did this exact thing. I already forgot what the command was. There's something different to copy it. You can use Xcopy and stuff, but I'll worry about that later. So let's see. We should try one must fall, because I know people have been talking about that several times here now in chat. So let's pull that up. Actually, Pixel, I did install Fast Doom. Let's try that real quick, and then we'll go to one must fall. So, because that was Pixel's request, is that we see how well this computer handles Fast Doom. And Fast Doom is and I had to read up a little bit on because I have never tried it, but it's a modern rewrite of Doom with optimizations and speed and a lot of options to turn off things. You can actually run it on a 486 or 386 even. Lots of options to mess with in settings, which is pretty cool. So I'll make sure the Gus is initialized. Zoom. I did. There's so many command files in here. I'm not sure which one it is. I just ran setup because I don't know what all of them do. Get all these, and these are hard. Yeah, we'll just do fdoom, I guess. Doom. Aha. Even the text of WADs in here. That's cool. We'll get out of the Gus. It's like doing Doom stuff. Gotta have Gus. All in the ass in it. Anyway. I actually did buy the MT32 Pi that is shipped from Serta shop. I'm waiting for that to come in. I actually had a Pi already, and I printed the case for it, so I'm just waiting for that to get into the game, because otherwise it errors out. So this is potato mode, but it's got a lot of cool settings that I had never seen here. You can go to high. I'm running really slow right now. Huh. Oh. I turned the cache off, remember? This is running at like 386 level now, which is a nice like way to test it, I guess. I'm running it conventional memory only. I'm curious how far we have to take it to make it run really. So yeah, for those not aware then, if you turn off caches for 46s and Pentiums, you basically can start getting down to 386 or lower levels. And that's where we're at now. Oh yeah. Doom with no settings at 8 FPS. So it shows you how much you can slow down this, and the music has trouble keeping up, as you can hear. Like, why is it running so slow? Like, oh yeah, dummy, because you set the settings to that. Do this too. But, you know, if you're going to play Doom on your 386, that's maybe your only option. I mean, it looks hilarious. Alright. Maybe let's do a reboot so we can get our cash back, because that's not going to fly for these newer games. But that is an option. I'm also curious then if Monkey Island works now, too. Monkey... Forget which the... So it's Monkey... B... and A, I guess, for adlib. Okay, so this is Monkey VA. Because this also doesn't like when it's not... I think it's going to run this time. It seems like... sure. Upper protection. So it's cool to have that option, even though it's kind of a pain in the butt. And there's software ways to do this, right, too. But... say... adlib. Eton? Yeah, maybe. I think that disabling the cache is not a one-for-one, and you're basically taking away a lot of that extra stuff that you get from DX processors. When it ran, something I also think that we kind of need to remember as well, we may have, you know, thought that, or as kids, especially I did too, was like, this is what you had. What else are you gonna do? Like, right? It ran okay, and that's how you played a lot of games with low FPS and stuff. I'm not saying that's how it was for you, but it was for me anyway. I revisited some of the games on an equal level machine. Like, oh my. The theme to Monkey Island sounds good on any platform. The Tandy one might be the one, but this one, of course, sounds fantastic on MT32 and SC55 and that kind of external MIDI devices. But the adlib does a great showing here too. It's nice to have the option because you can use a machine like this for, you know, older games. So right now it's using the Sound Blaster then, since we don't have the adlib mode. We could test the Tandy mode because I have not messed with the Tandy settings at all. within the GUS, which it does support. It actually is able to emulate Andy 3 voice, and then you can play games with that, which is not, I mean, better than PC Speaker, but eh. It's iconic, and I don't know what it is with that particular, but it's just the, I think with Monkey Island, just seeing the, you know, world come up and the music swelling and everything, it's just fantastic. Probably one of my favorite, like, intro tunes of any game, for sure. We played this... Did we play it on DOS? Must have, yeah. We played through a big portion of it, so... I think I probably have it on the Pentium... Yeah, we did it with the MIDI, I think, so we have it on the Pentium 166. But, yeah, Adlib does a great showing here. Compared to, remember, when... For those that were here, when we streamed Monkey Island on that Mac, the audio was something else. But, hey, at least it works now, so I know you can disable the cache to do that stuff. So, we'll go back and turn the cache back on. It's Monkey Island. I think it's still a gorgeous game in pretty much any graphics mode. Although I thought I set it to VGA, but I guess this is as far as it goes. It was... There we go. I thought I had it, set it to VGA. Yeah. You have to have them separate. Just want to try one more time, because it didn't seem like it was using... That was more EGA. V... Then, A. I'll check real quick, because I'm really curious if that was... Because I could have sworn it looks better in VGA. Looks like to me it's more EGA stuff. But then again, I'm not sure. This might be the EGA version, right? Because no, it could be the one. Because there's multiple versions released on Monkey Island, and all are different... Yeah. Still, cool to hear. It's actually a game that is just really good on the Amiga as well, but aren't we already... There we go, quit. And then... Yeah, exactly. It's not a one-for-one, so it's a good option for these games here, because now you could theoretically play Monkey Island on there and actually have a good time, versus playing it, otherwise it literally will not work, because it will crash with the cache enabled. So, at least it's an option, but it's not a real, like, 3D6 thing. Gets you close, but not exactly, so... And wait for that to scroll through here. Then we're going to get into fast tube. And it's funny because, like, you know, I messed with it earlier and it ran. I'm like, it was running pretty good. And then we started up now. I'm like, this is running horrible. All memory cache. Oops. Keep on. Thank you very much. So you see there's not many settings you can change here, so. I know there's like set mul and those kind of things available that you can run to set the multiplier and stuff like that, but I think those work better with, or at least the ones I know of, you would run on a Pentium era machine, not on a 46, but... Oh my goodness. Seems like Stellantis/Dodge is having a bit of an interesting issue with their supply chains. I heard someone was waiting for a transmission for their Dodge pickup as well, and they were just in the waiting queue to get a loaner. I mean, can't say I know enough about it, but it sounds like they're having some issues with parts, so... Okay, now we actually have everything set up. We got the full memory, and I think for everyone that messes with DOS, Phil's startup menu is just fantastic. It gets you such a quick way to get all the settings you might need for most DOS games right off the bat with no mucking around, so... Eating My Boy, welcome. I know you were requesting a few games in Discord, I think. I do have Dreamweb on here. And then you had to mention Solar Wind something? Recognize that one, so... Ah, yes. I'm curious. I was listening to Digital Foundry's podcast, and he said it ran really well on PC, so... Oh yeah, that's right. The K6 processors are great for that, aren't they? They can really be tuned around. Really fine-tuned, too. I think that, because I have a K6 2400, and that one lets you mess with a whole bunch of settings with different variables through a command line, which is pretty nice. All right, let's go to Doom. For Doom. Run for Doom. Yeah, I feel that, you know, I love the Steam Deck, but oh, I probably need to start the Gus first. For Doom. Let's try for Doom again. Um, you know, you're getting into a point where, like, some of these AAA games are just not a good experience on the deck. Maybe streaming from your actual PC through Moonlight or Steam streaming is a better choice at that point. But it's like, you know, even if you get to run, um, you know, it goes like ballistic on thermals, right? There we go. Whoa, look at that. We have 35 FPS now with all the settings turned on to nothing. It's funny how smooth it feels with just that, even though it's not. Alright, let's go back to regular here. Play. Go back to high. Oops, I have my, let's see. There. Oh, interesting. Wow, there's so many options. Where's my gun? I have to just restart it? That's weird. Right rendering, oh, flat. Player rendering, there we go. Alright, so we're getting, you know, 20 FPS, and as a kid, I definitely would have said this was fully playable. But I think it runs better than, since we don't have an FPS cap, it would run better than the, Doom. It would run better than the original game for sure. More optimized, so. But then you could fine-tune it to a way that makes it, you know, more playable. Okay. I could have sworn I messed with it. I had the... Maybe I have to look back. I haven't messed with that machine for a while, but I could have sworn it was a K62 400. It might have been a K62 Plus. Sorry. Yeah, I gotta mess with the machine again, but I could have sworn I was messing with that very stuff, trying all the console commands to set the multiplier and the speed, so... Actually, there's a benchmark in here, right? Oh. There's an error there, so, oh well. Whenever runs Doom 2. Doom! Those are only 2 WADs I have, so... Well. Different WAD file someone was expecting, I guess, so... but it's very cool. It's just, I love that you have these retro projects people keep... Oh. I don't have the rights, so... Weird. Oh, those ultrasound initialized. I guess it causes issue because it's the wrong WAD file or something. Yeah, interesting. Because did I not start the Gus? No, oh, no peak of Gus detected. Huh. Well, that's neat. We have to reboot, I guess. That's reboot. Yeah, it's frozen up. Ah, there it goes. Ah, yes, DOS machines. They're always fun. We're trying to push them a little bit and how much it, I say breaks, but just has problems. It's like you take, like, driver stability and stuff like that for granted these days. Where, you know, back then, it's like, the OS wasn't as protected and it was much easier to just sync the whole machine. You think that, like, you know, modern Windows and stuff like that is like, oh, it's so bad or whatever, but, ooh, BIOS issue there. That's neat. Where the, a lot of driver and stuff like that is protected, right? Well, got some interesting issues going on here now. A little while to find that there. Go to BIOS again and take a look here. Something doesn't seem right. running real slow. So yeah, the 46 struggle is real. Walked around with it too much. CDN. It's also possible the hard drive is having problems. So, Ian Joseph, welcome. We're trying to troubleshoot our 46 now. We're starting to have some problems. The cache is on. That's on. Nothing else is here is different. So everything's off. Yeah. That was sort of the memory cache that was off. I was curious. There was an error message there at the end of the BIOS boot. So yeah, exactly. And it's like you want to say like SoundMaster 16 is like the gold standard of sound cards in that era, but a lot of the clones are fantastic. I mean, it's like they have maybe some of them have a bit of a unique sound, but I have many fond memories of like my random generic ESS clone that was in my computer, and it worked fine. You know, the best of my knowledge. Get that error message again. It popped up real quick. Huh. It was weird. Before that flew by. It feels like it's running kind of sluggish now. Interesting. Now look at this. This is like taking a long time. Maybe the hard drive is having problems. That would be fantastic if it does. If it dies on stream. It is an actual mechanical spinning hard drive. So is it... Huh. I love AdLib as well, but it's interesting. It's not like the ports all loaded correctly. So there was a problem there with the Sound Blaster. Maybe I'll do a cold reboot here and turn it off properly. Start it over. I'm going to give it a second to spin down. Something see it's off there. It's not doing proper assignment. Interrupt or something. Didn't find the Sound Blaster and didn't find the Pico Gust. So something's going on here now. Worst case scenario, what I can do is unplug the power because the BIOS battery is dead anyway. And that will basically reset the machine to default BIOS settings. So that kind of is ridiculous, but it is what it is. And really the only thing I changed from the default setup is that I basically enabled the secondary IDE channel, and that's it to rest idly. Well, I turn off the parallel and serial ports. But I do want to try out One Must Fall if we can. Computer is taking its time now. Well, that was faster that time. There we go. That seems better. I don't know what's going on there, but the cold reboot or the warm reboot I just Control-Delete was not cutting it. Something was staying resident in memory there. Okay. What the heck were we doing now? We're trying Doom 2. Wasn't working. I'm not... Maybe that was causing instability. I had the wrong WAD file. I just copied it from the Doom 2 installation I have, so it's possible that's just the issue that just caused a memory leak and a problem. See? Oh, I got further that time, so... Calling ass in it. Oops, said a bad word. But thanks for all those cool suggestions for DOS games. That's what I want to explore, because I love, honestly, exploring things I didn't get a chance to mess with. Oh my. Probably set the display back here now. It's really funny that you can do this. Oh, very playable like this. I mean, not fast, but the fact you're playing this on a mid-range 46. Oh, too bad this made me a violent adult now that I play these violent games as a kid, right? So, this is more than enough playable. Full screen, that's pretty cool optimization. I wish we could get an FPS counter in a regular game, because I am curious to see how Doom 2 just run natively. Hey, stop shooting me. Yeah, I mean, I think maybe I'm overstating it, but if I played this younger, I would have had no problem. This would have been, because you wouldn't see the FPS meter, and 20-ish in games or whatever would have been fantastic. But yeah, I'm really curious to see if we switch, but I wish we had an FPS meter. FPS meter in the regular Doom 2, but let's try it real quick, because, like, got an appetite there, and then see what Doom 2 runs natively. Sure that the... That's right, there's ultrasound. Because that was full screen playable, compared to what we'll see here, how this is. And what I was going to mention is that... Oh, that's right, the sound in this is a little weird. It's definitely running worse. I wish I could actually have the frame rate up there, but it's definitely lost some performance there. Still playable, but these parts here were much smoother in Fast Doom, I feel. I guess there's something to the old girl anyway. Eating banana? Or dooming it up. We're just testing because we ran Fast Doom earlier, which is a optimized version of Doom for DOS. And that ran definitely smoother, to me anyway. This is still playable, and I'm sure plenty of people played it this way too. 66 was very popular after all. But it definitely ran better. Like, these parts here were considerably smoother. It's cool. It's awesome. It's a great project too. I just read up on it real quick, and I think that, yeah, they took kind of modern code for Doom with the source ports and everything, and then adapted that to DOS to make it run better. So that's cool. I gotta put more WAD files in there to run it, because I think it supports even more. But that's a great option for these. Yeah, I know, sorry. I don't know what it is with the Gus particular here in this one, because it ran fine in Fast Doom, but something on this one is not right. Not at all. The Sound Blaster one is fine, but we found that on the Gus here, some of the stuff doesn't quite work. And again, for those that weren't here last time, this is a Pico Gus in this machine. It is emulating an ultrasound, or Gravis Ultrasound, which it does a fantastic job of, but that could be compatibility issues. I could have things misconfigured. I could have a wrong version of games, yada yada. You know, there's a lot of variables there at play. But let's grab One Must Fall. Go. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna start the network. I think most of you were here last time. For those that weren't, this is spinning up a network driver. It starts a packet driver for the network card. It grabs an IP address, and then I will run FTP servers so I can copy files to this machine without having to run back and forth floppy or zip drive, whatever it might be. It's incredibly convenient. Now I'll try FTP server, and I can just go to my modern computer and I need to zip it up on this side first. Can't see this, but it is what it is, so just lean back and wait for the file to copy. It's I do love networking, and it's something I am actually working on planning stages. I have a concept of a plan to make a video on retro networking, mostly focused on Windows and DOS and PCs, because that's most of my experience, but also including some other platforms. Because I think that it may sound scary if you haven't messed with it, but it's so darn convenient to do. And especially, you know, the GUI-based Windows, you can just, it's so nice to be able to drag and drop files back and forth, you know, copy, share files between computers, and it's just super convenient. So I'm hoping to make a video on that at some point here, trying to cover as much as I can. my thought was to maybe make like a master video, and then I could have addendums with additional platforms as I learn to network them. So, um, awesome. Yeah, RetroNAS is fantastic. Great. Yeah, that's the cool thing. You have a lot of options, right? So FTP is probably the quote unquote easiest because you don't have to worry too much about the stack and everything. It is correct. It is period correct. And that's why I stick with just modern TCP/IP as much as I can because it just makes it easier. But there's also other options. There's a reason networking was complicated back in the day, and now there's been more modern stuff that makes it a lot easier. So, yeah, so that's why I go with TCP/IP because it makes it mesh much better with current hardware as well. So, all right. Didn't miss any interesting chats there. Yeah. Like you said, Banana, you played a game back then on a 46 and you were happy. Like, what else were you going to compare it to? You had nothing to compare it to, so. Outback 5190. I don't even remember what that kind of machine is, so. Alright, so I think that, oops. The way I'm laid out here now, my keyboard's really far away because of the microphone, so. So we have, there we go. Okay, unzip. mf.zip. The temp. The reason I'm doing this is that it's an installation file here, I think, not a actual run. So, oh, which program do you want to install? One or exit? There we go. Games, OMF. Yes. This is a very, like, do this. Quite epic, too. Wow, it came on 5 floppies there. That has to decompress. Not the CD version, then, for sure. That's the one I would love to have the box for, too. And it's, you know, I've been getting back into getting a big box game, so I'm running out of space behind me now, which is kind of a problem. So I have to put some more shelves up, I think. Yeah. No, don't ruin a warranty. Hey, man, down here lost me with Novell there. I had to do Novell in college, and it was not a pleasant experience. And I mess with that stuff in, like, production and stuff like that, and I prefer just stick with TCP/IP. It's a reason why I kind of took over. Nope. That's it. All right, is there a setup here? There we go for sound. Aha. Ultrasound. Oh, that was easy. See how the sound is now. Lightning. Lightning bolt. And realizing that when you get to certain points, certain machines, there's nothing you can do. Oh, yeah. That's fantastic. Man, makes me wish I had a ultrasound back in the day. I couldn't afford it, but you get to certain type of machines, you have to use certain protocols and everything. But to me, if you can do TCP/IP, it makes it a lot easier to integrate it into an existing network. Even in Windows 3.11, you can install the Windows 95 TCP/IP stack in it, and it makes networking even easier there too. Within limits, of course. But for the machines I've been messing with, it's probably the easiest way to do it. Even within, for Amiga, you can run like a packet driver on a parallel port to let you network stuff. I mean, there's a lot of options. So. Funny, I've heard remixes of this track, but I always forget where it's from. Full settings. I know now the Popo or the retro Gus, the developer, last week was here, which is awesome, and he talked about how this is a game that is, you know, well worth trying, and I see why. Great. Now I'm actually using the gamepad. There you go, the likeness is uncanny. We gotta use the quintessential one. Also music. Want to play? Wrecking me. Wrecking machine. Which buttons work? Is it just one? Oh. I did lose. Wrecked. Completely wrecked. Oh. Great. Running really fast, it feels like. Maybe this game isn't as fast, but... Yeah, I may have to, because this is running really fast. Wow. The reach on that dude is a little, redonkulous. I don't think the music had to go this hard, but obviously the, ultrasound is awesome here. Hey, there we go. Hyper. Nope. Oh. There we go. Let's turn it down a little bit. Music is amazing. About the guy again. Vindicated. I want to vindicate the guy. Hey Ian, welcome back. We're just relishing and enjoying your product here in One Must Fall. Because it is just glorious. I know you recommended it last time too. We didn't get a chance to check it out. We are today, but it's amazing. I said it's a little too slow. There we go. This is the dad gaming mode. A little too slow, but that's fine. Part experience. Enjoying the heck out of this music. I'm a little curious because I know Ian, you had a ultrasound right back in the day. Was this one of those like titles you tested it with, or like showed it off with, or anything? What would be the thing that you started it up with to kind of test it or show it off, or was it just like, you know, this is the sound card I have and that's it? You win. May have said it a little too easy, maybe. Because I know it feels like to me, like when you have a special piece of equipment for your computer, for me, where it's like, you know, you had a Voodoo card, you showed off GL Quake, you know, stuff like that. Evenly matched battle. Yeah. Oil. Child-friendly oil. No blood here. Oh, we're back. Okay, I was saying the demos are probably the kind of killer app, right? I need to try them as well on here, but yeah, I may have said it a little too easy here. not even do anything. And that was the second lowest difficulty, and then this was the easiest, so the difference is palpable. But it's weird because you listen to the ultrasound now, and thankfully we can due to this great card. But here, it's like a step above and even more, you know? The ad-lib sound is good. I love it too. I'm most nostalgic for that, but this is like a step above, and this isn't even like a, you know, MIDI device or anything. I get it. You can get fantastic sound on the MT32 and all the external MIDI devices, but yeah, some games have jukebox. I don't think this one did, right? I didn't see one. But it's like this goes so hard compared to the ad-lib. We can try it out too. We can change the setting to the ad-lib sound, and see. And to me, there's something with the gust, like the fullness, the richness of the bass and everything. I think it's going to be pretty one-sided at this point, but at least it runs great on the 46, so there's that.
Round 1. Fight.
Yeah, it's really polished. Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, well, they're... funky. Ow. Ooh, that was a caught with something. Great music. Yeah, it feels like, and this is like PC exclusive, right? It's not like, you know, this was the kill wrap then for fighter games that PC had. Blank Seg. And also the gamepad is working quite well. For those that joined us later, I am playing with one of these like kind of quick shot PC gamepad 6. Only 2 buttons are working for this game, but it's doing a fantastic job. Yeah, and not only is it screenshots from your fight, but it's like actual real commentary of how the fight went. That's awesome. No, and I think that, you know, because what the K6-2 is like not quite equivalent of the same Pentium 2, right? Clock for clock, usually the P2 is faster. I could be remembering wrong, but it seems like a good match. I actually had plans to do a not too dissimilar build at some point, sitting on a to-do pile.
Round 1. Fight.
That's a little bit too easy, I would say. The music's cool. Yeah, I need to play it some more too, and I wasn't interested in fighting games, I think, at the time, because this would have been, you know, early mid-90s, and I was more into strategy games, I think. I played a lot of, like, you know, Warcraft 2, Command & Conquer, Red Alert, you know, those games. That was my jam at that time. Yeah, it's a little easy. I think the Banshee is actually a really cool card. Like, Voodoo 3 may be one of my favorite video cards just because the usability of it. It's so practical. But the Banshee, I feel like, is a better card than, you know, you might think. I know Pixel did a great video on it. It was last year, or maybe the year before that. But the Banshee is just a really good all-around card, and it's a great match for that kind of aero system. Like the Voodoo 3 overshadows it a lot, which is, you know, better across the board, but the Banshee is a great card, so.
Round 1. Fight.
Hard to make combos on this. Oh man, got mic'd. Yeah, Live is such a go-to card for that era, because I mean it's a great Windows sound card, really. As long as you don't get one of those Dell ones that can cause problems, but in general, like the go-to sound card would be a Live, right? Also, you know, I think I had one, so a lot of people did. Ow. Damn. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, you know, I feel it just gets a bad rap, really, because the Banshee was just, feels like it dismissed a little bit, but I think we may have tried this enough now. Because I'm not really challenged at all here, but I wish there was a way to do the music. Yeah, that's right. And that was sort of the biggest cutback with that texture unit, right? And what you lost compared to Voodoo 2, or SLI Voodoo 2, I know was faster. There was that part, but I think it's easy to maybe remember too much about the era specifically, because if you go back now and build a retro machine by itself, you can have a great time. Like, yeah, sure, there might be one that's faster, one that's more compatibility, whatever, but you can have a good time with that particular machine. And that's something that gets lost a little bit, I think. People just, you know, paper warriors just comparing specs and everything. So it's, you know, don't be afraid to build a Banshee machine. Don't be afraid to build something with odd stuff. You know, there's a lot of fun you can have with that. So, Indribius, welcome. Listen to the amazing theme music here for One Must Fall 2097 on the Pico Gus. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I listen to the soundtrack now, but are there thanks, you get to see the I'll say, what do you think, Ian? Can you hop to making an emulated Voodoo next? You got that, right? Before Christmas would be great. They are the they're Muse files. It'd be pretty cool if the music in here was actually usable. Have to be converted or something. ESM. That's right. System Shock 1 does for sure. Now that's the thing with you know, you get a pretty cool retro system, and I have one here right now. I'm going to pass along to someone local here, because it's a really cool system, but it lacks it doesn't have ISO slots, no AGP, so it hits that middle, right? It's not that it's impossible to make it a good retro system. You can make it DOS, Windows 95, stuff like that, but it does limit it a little bit. Really? I guess so. Man, getting closer than I thought. I mean, we can do the Voodoo wrappers and stuff like that, you know, for some machines. I mean, I ran out of my overkill Windows 98 machine that ran like an Athlon 64, way too fast for Windows 98, but I was able to make it work. But then you can run Voodoo wrappers that run Voodoo better than the original Voodoo. So you're doing a software at that point, right? So, all right, that's One Must Fall. Do we have any other requests for other games? Otherwise, I'll find one. You can look around. I am poking around. I almost should have asked this. Yeah, I can play that again and finish it out. What I'm trying to do this time streaming now, so that I've streamed twice, which is a new record for this year in a row, is to not be afraid to do the same thing again. Like, you know, we're doing today, we're messing with the 46 some more. Why not? Because I felt like every week before I had to like come up with something brand new. And sometimes I will do that, but I like to be able to finish games as well. So we'll continue games more than we did in the past. Finish them out, because I know some games are really fun, and, you know, probably people want to see me finishing them out. Alice, for example. Or Jedi Knight. I know we were playing that one, and we got close to the end and never finished it, so I'd like to finish that one as well. Funny you should say that, Blank, because we actually used Doom and Fast Doom earlier, and I can show you that real quick, but Fast Doom is like a modern interpretation for the Doom engine, or for Doom, that lets you run it faster, and it runs it really well. Doom. Goodness, was it that long ago? I do love that game, like, a lot. That's great. We really should finish that. I don't remember where we left off, but I guess my save is still on there. We're playing it on the Voodoo 1 even, just for the heck of it. And the cool thing with this one that we realized pretty quickly was that it makes Doom very playable. Like, yeah, the FPS isn't great, but, you know, if you were playing this as a youngling, you would have had a great time. So yeah, this will be a 4666 then, right? So, you know, middle of the pack 46, probably the most common one. And with Fast Doom here, it runs great. We tested this with Doom 2 as well with Fast Doom, which was definitely smoother with Fast Doom enabled. You can turn on a whole bunch of settings in here too, which is pretty hilarious when you go to potato mode. Now we get better speed. Look at that. Ooh, play as a potato. Looks like a low resolution, like running on like Game Boy Advance or something. The Game Boy Advance is surprisingly low resolution, which works great for pixel graphics. Not so great for 3D stuff, the little stuff it did. Look at those chonky pixels. Great. Well, that's weird. I know. Hey, Imp on level 1. Whoops. Got a cheater in here. That's alright. I messed with that way more than I liked to admit as a kid, because the cheats were really fun. When you're kind of bored, you're playing Doom. I played Doom 2 mostly. For a while, you just do cheats and clipping through walls and blowing everything up. And, you know, I love games that have cheats, especially in that era, because just gave you more freedom to do whatever. You know, running up the BFG 9000 on level 2 here. Where are you? Yeah, it definitely is. For me, if you want one system for that kind of era of games, a P, you know, 166 or a P200, it's so flexible because you can lock it down through different utilities and be able to play all those like DOS games at very high speed, or not, I shouldn't say very high, but, you know, Duke 3D, Descent, Descent 2, all those run, you know, phenomenal on a late Pira. Yep, that's the clip for game 1. Yeah, for 2 is ID clip. They made that easier. It's funny because I memorized IDSPOPD as a kid, and I had trouble, you know, memorizing my German vocabulary that I had to do for school, but I could remember these codes that were ridiculous. But yeah, anyway, Fast Doom is a great option for running Doom on slower machines, and it works great here. I think it's even playing in, you know, natively like we did here, with all the settings equal, it plays it definitely faster than the native Doom. So, all right, what other game were we talking about? Those that are wondering what the beverage is, it's a blood orange IPA from a Colorado brewery. So, it's being enjoyed tonight. Is there? I'm just looking through some of the games that are on here. I know people were recommending other games here too. So many to pick from. That's what I've been having a blast. Like I tried to mention earlier, and I forgot. When I'm loading up my retro computers, I really enjoy grabbing them almost in order. In the ones that I'm nostalgic for, the ones I played, the ones I wanted to play but couldn't, and then just ones that look neat. It's kind of my priority order when I load up a retro system for myself. And you can find such really cool gems and games that like you wouldn't have experienced before, or games that maybe you didn't get a chance to experience. There's a lot of cool ones that are, especially like you go to DOS. My goodness, there's so many games There's so many DOS games. It's almost ridiculous. So as far as like why I came to America, besides the buying retro computers, I met my wife online. We were playing Darkest Camelot online, and she's from the local area here. That is the short story of why we now are married and have kids. So, but no, I came over here a few times for an internship, things like that. We met online and kind of made friends that way, and it evolved into what we're today. That's the reason why I moved here. It was playing Darkest Camelot. Love that game. Played well. Love-hate relationship. Played that game a lot. Had lots of annoyances with it. Let's see, I'm just looking through other games. See, I think I have. Sure, I think I have Dune 2 on here. Yeah, which I think supports the gut. No, it does not. It's kind of a bummer. Now, this is a game that sounds really good on MIDI, but it's only Sound Blaster on this one. Only Sound Blaster. Yeah, I'm like talking down on it now. But it does work. Sure. Dune 2 have enough memory? Yeah. There we go. I cleaned up the audio cables. Thank you for all the input last time. I was clearly in a rush to plug everything in, but now it's going correctly, like you mentioned, Ian, if you're still here. From the gust to the line in on the Sound Blaster, from the Sound Blaster out to the speaker system. So this is Sound Blaster, just doing, you know, a typical Sound Blaster of the era. And Dune 2 is
planet Arrakis, known as Dune.
Thanks, lady. Land of Sand.
Land of Sand.
The thing with the voice recorded in a lot of these games is that for some reason it seems to clip really high.
Of the spice.
Seems like a lot of these things are recorded way too like high.
The spice controls the empire.
Dune 2000 for me is definitely a little bit later than a 46. I play that on P2300 or P3500. But I did stream Dune 2000 years ago now. I love that game. I played Dune 2000 a lot because it was like, it got kind of panned in reviews because there wasn't enough new stuff. But for me, it was exactly what I wanted. It was, you know, it was Dune 2 enhanced, and I loved it. So I actually made a report in high school on the Dune games. Dune 2 and Dune 2000 mostly because I was so into it at the time. I can't remember what software it was. It was kind of like a it was a software that was kind of like PowerPoint, but not. And I spent like the weekend because I thought it was so fun using a computer and like making animations. So like the screen came in black and then the houses flew in and it gave a little blurb on them. They moved out of the way, and I spent so much time in that software moving that image like a few pixels per like frame. It took forever to animate that, but the teacher actually liked it so much they put it up on the screen to show the class. So I think I kept it somewhere. I don't remember what software we used. It was not PowerPoint, so.
And the evil Harkonnen.
Harkonnen. The one thing when you play Doom 2 now,
only one house will
there's a lot of improvements that happen in the RTS genre pretty quickly after this. Above all, being able to like multi-select units
Your battle for Doom
and
begins.
Move units without like, you know, pressing, like picking units. As we can launch into the game, and for those who don't remember it, it's really obtuse to play this. Late again.
House Harkonnen.
House Harkonnen. I always thought this was hilarious as a kid. Yep. Yeah, we streamed that also a while back. I was very interested in RTS games in the 90s, and that's one I remember reading about but missed because, you know, I was a kid. so it was hard to buy all the games I wanted, but the ones I bought were the Command and Conquer games, Warcraft, and played those a lot. I did remember seeing Dark Reign, KKND, you know, a lot of those that were quote-unquote, you know, almost like Command and Conquer clones. I really wanted them, but just not being able to afford them. And we did stream KKND. I did buy the box for it a while back. We streamed that like last year sometime. And it's a really fun Command and Conquer-esque game. I mean, it's very close to Command and Conquer in any case. So, for those that haven't played Dune 2 in a long time, what you have to do is select each unit, click move, and then click move. Like, you can't multi-select, and those things we take for granted now. You know, there's kind of like, you know, you play a game, and there's a certain level, like, it has to be...
Construction complete.
It has to have a certain level of technology to make it easier. And once you hit that level, then you can do the retro thing, and it's fun, but sometimes you get so old, compared to playing, like, more, late 90s RPGs and stuff like that on PC, or like Baldur's Gate, right? It's complicated, but it's pretty easy to play. Like, it's not hard to understand. And then you go and play, like a gold box SSI game, or one of those, like, you know, hardcore RPGs from the late 80s, early 90s, and they're very, like, obtuse and, like, pen and paper style.
Warning, enemy unit approaching.
Enemy unit approaching south. Only the, DOS version like this has the sound, I think. And this is actually on Mega Drive Genesis, and it plays pretty well. It's, you know, a little obtuse, but it works.
Yes, sir. Moving out.
Point being is that, you know, there's a thing that games almost get too old unless you're really into it. It can be really challenging to get into a retro game.
Yes, sir.
When it's real difficult to play. And in this case here, I will probably revisit Dune 2 more, but it's sluggish to play. Like, it was amazing for the time. Nothing else, at least to me. I remember seeing this on Amiga. I went to a friend's house. Like, wow, you're controlling these units in real time, and it's just, like, amazing. Like, how is this, like, done so well? And it runs pretty slow on the Amiga, a stock 500, but it was playable. But now you play it, and it's just, there's too many quality of life improvements in the RTS genre that follow this pretty quickly. And that, you know, yeah, there's a Genesis port. You can play it directly on Genesis. It's great. I recommend checking it out. Not sure I would play the game that way, but it certainly is interesting. I actually have a bit of a soft spot for some of those games because there was a, you know, StarCraft port on the N64 with its own 3D engine. There was a Command & Conquer port on the N64 with its own engine. There's a Command & Conquer port on PlayStation 1 and on the Saturn, and, you know, they ported a lot of those games that are, to me, quintessential PC games to consoles. And RTS has always been a little bit difficult challenge on consoles, obviously due to controls, and especially back then. It is not a fantastic experience playing that on Genesis, but it's neat. And, you know, I love the neat stuff, so worth checking out, but I wouldn't sit down and play it.
Warning, enemy unit approaching from
enemy unit approaching.
Yes, sir. Infantry, yes, sir.
Harkonnen harvester deployed.
Infantry out.
Yeah, no way around it. And it makes you, there was a lot of, like, you know, consoles had mouse. Did the Genesis Mega Drive have a mouse accessory? I mean, I have the one for SNES. And I played, like, Mario Paint and, you know, King Arthur's Kingdom and stuff like that.
Yes, sir.
Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying these games are good, but they're neat. It's a cool idea and concept, especially the fact that it has its own 3D engine. Hey, Foil, welcome. No, nothing against the Gus. I love the sound that it produces, but this, for me, is very nostalgic because that blaring, like, you know, OPL sound is pretty great, so... But it's neat when they do those kind of, you know, ports that you wouldn't think should work, and they still aren't great to play, but they do work, and especially on the N64 one, where they made a full 3D engine for for Command & Conquer. Like, it's its own bespoke engine, and it's really weird to play. But yeah, it's It is difficult to go back to Dune 2. It's a ground-setting game, but I would probably more like to do it to Command & Conquer, because that leap from Dune 2 to Command & Conquer and Warcraft 2, there's so much more like smoothness in the gameplay, and it's modern enough that it doesn't feel like you're fighting the game, if you will. Versus here, you really do that. When you're doing a big assault in this game, selecting each unit, clicking move, and on the map, like a triangle pattern, it gets really tiring really fast. So yeah, we're not going to play Dune 2 too long, but it is... I mean, I love this game. I played it quite a bit, but if I'm going to play Dune 2 now, I'm going to go for Dune 2000, because that has more of that 90s thing. But Dune 2 was such a trend-setting game. It was not the first RTS, but it won, arguably did it the best, so... Same way that, like, Laser Squad was one of the first, like... Or at least one of the most first popular, like, XCOM-style games.
Deployed.
Also by Julian Gullop. But then when he made UFO, that was the one, so... Speaking of... I just picked up the big box for this, and it's one of those that I've always wanted, but never really had. I think the European cover is almost cooler. It's got like a alien on the front. But I never had XCOM as a kid, or UFO, Enemy Unknown, as it was called in Europe. I had Terror from the Deep was the first one I had, and I'm looking for that one too, with a reasonable price. But this one I found recently here now for... It was one of those, like, I put a offer on it, thinking like, well, whatever, and they accepted it. It wasn't super cheap, but it wasn't super expensive either, so I'm very happy to have that because I really like it, so... Oh. I guess the technical supplements fell in the other side here, but yeah. Happy to have that one, so... Yeah, oh yeah, it's one of those games, like, you really kind of enjoy playing, but to actually max it out or do everything, XCOM is... all the XCOM games are like that, right? You can be on a great run, everything's going great, and then, bam, one bad shot can sink your whole squad. And that makes it exciting on one level, but also frustrating. The newer XCOM games are really amazing, too, so they really did a good job there, so... Oh, no. I can't imagine. I'll probably play on the light, easiest difficulty. And in Terror from the Deep, which is the one I played the most, which I like to get the big box now again, too. When I went to VCF now, I picked up a whole bunch of big box games, so now I'm hunting big boxes again. I had kind of cooled off for a while, but it's so addictive. I played Terror from the Deep most, and
Your
that's the
mission
one I'm
is
nostalgic
complete.
for. Good, please. Well, I'm glad. What are you looking at? What are you looking at? Want a peanut? We're not gonna play Dune 2 that long, but I love the fact that Dune 2000 was such a remake of Dune 2, and if you're playing this and then go to Dune 2000, like, it's almost like a one-for-one remake. Not exactly, but there's a lot of, like, things they copy-pasted, which is why I think it was kind of not loved by reviewers, because at the time, it was basically like, you know, Command & Conquer Gold with a little bit extra, you know, fanciness. But I loved it. It was great. That OPL sound. Westwood Games always had such like character to them, right? And I do miss them as a studio a lot. I know a lot of them are, I think, I could be wrong there, are now Petroglyph Games. They kind of founded a similar one, and they actually tried to make a new RTS a few years ago now called Grey Goo. And it really was a spiritual successor to Command & Conquer. It had a very similar elements. It had kind of a mixture between StarCraft and Command & Conquer. They had one faction that was very StarCraft, or sorry, Command & Conquer-like, with building a base and all that stuff. Great music. Frank Kopacki was involved again. And it was just, it's a really good game. I didn't get super far in it, but you can see also it's a little generic. Didn't really hit. And I don't know that the market was super excited for an RTS at the time. So, but it's actually quite a good game. I forgot the copy protection came in there. I didn't have the manual open handy, so whoops. Oh well. I think I mentioned it before, but Dune 2 is one I would love to have a big box for, because I saw it on eBay years ago before the price started going up and up. And it was sold for $25 with the black box with the light trooper on it. And at that time, I'm like, oh, that's too much to spend on a big box game. Like, oh my goodness. If I had, yeah, I should have bought that one. That goes for like over 100 now. And it's pretty clever to not put the copy protection right in the beginning, because a cracker or someone who's copying the game would try it, and it worked. Look, right, we played the whole first mission, and then it comes in. And so that's, I think, you distribute these copies then a little too quickly. So, all right, we got a few more games on here, but let's see what else we can copy. I think another game that uses the Gus would be nice. We do have Jackrabbit 2, right? Uses the Gus, I assume. Compilation. I have 2 here, but I'm looking through a really big list of DOS games, so and it's weird how quickly it's hard to almost keep up with the DOS era. Oh yeah, true. Tyrion's on here. We'll check that out. I do have that on, and it sounds really good. Make sure the Gus is initialized. I think that up. We already have it here. Oh, that's right. We got to run the, sorry. Yep, exactly. Thank you, Ian. I haven't tried Dreamweb yet, but we'll do that. What I'm actually going to do is this now. I'm going to... There. Now I can just launch it directly. So I have the C tools defined in my AutoExec bat, so it knows it's a directory. So then I can just run the command directly when I go in there. So now I don't have to go into the directory every time. I can just initialize ultramid by hitting ultramid. So yeah. Now we should have it working, and the Gus sounds fantastic in Tyrion, for sure. No, why would I? Quiet. I love it as a jukebox here. That's pretty great. And I think I tried a demo of Lemmings 3D. It was on a cover disc back in the day, and I remember trying to like play it and then like turning it off and never playing it again. I had played Lemmings quite extensively on many platforms, probably the SNES the most, because that's what I had earlier there, and played Lemmings at my neighbors on his Amiga 500. But my word, Lemmings 3D was really one of those early forced 3D experiences, though. We'll try the game here again. Is there anything negative, Ian, to running Ultramid all the time, or is it just going to cause compatibility and problems in some games? Or is it like a memory thing? You shouldn't initialize it unless you need it. It's working with the gamepad, which is great. You kind of takes, you know, you hop on a console this era, you take it for granted, you pick up a gamepad and you play, but not always with DOS. But it's incredible what a gamepad like this will enhance some DOS experiences. Again, I'm surprised how good this gamepad is. It's not, you know, it's pretty plasticky, but it works great, so. Easy boot. Not... Score is not super accurate. I think we're just gonna go with mouse. Not working so great. This is I'm saying like, oh, it was great. It was in fact not great. Really flowy controls. I think it may have to be calibrated. I think the sound effects are really low. Yeah, they're there. They're just probably pretty low. I turn up the music a little bit just to hear it, but I mean, I love shmups, whatever. I should really play this more. I mean, I love DOS games, and I should sit down and actually play it properly. I think it's one that I would have loved, youngling. I love shmups back then. A lot of these games get pretty difficult pretty quickly, too. Yeah, it's great. Like, the amount of, like, cool stuff that came out of DOS. There was one, I think it was in Windows, but it was like a Breakout clone, DX Ball or something like that. I can't remember. I think it was that. But it did what many of them did. It was Arkanoid. Oh, man, it was just fantastic. Loved it, because you got upgrades and stuff like that, and it was really fun. Shareware game, but it's just fantastic. But yeah, for those that didn't catch it, I do have a MT32 Pi on the way, and I've already printed out the case and everything, so I'm hoping to use that on this machine as well. And then you have the full effect of like having Sound Blaster, a Gravis Ultrasound, and MT32 all on one machine, which should be pretty awesome. And then, of course, the EcoGus can do the MIDI out very easily, because it came with a dongle for that, which is great. I have to use a custom dongle or the special one for the Sound Blaster. Get a little repetitive, I guess, but I love the games that give you a lot of power-ups. That's kind of for me for the shmups. It's fun to pick up boosts and power-ups and see how powerful your ship can get. In this case, get blown up here. Like one of my favorite games of all time is Axelay on Super Nintendo. It's got that perfect feel to it. Shoot 'em up. Love it. Music, presentation, style, everything. Played that a lot, so. Percent of rendition verite by mistake? Wow. Pretty nice. I think I would have that kind of luck, but. Nice card. I mean, not good, but it's nice. Well, it's like we're hungry for like the crazy obscure stuff, but often those things aren't always good. Like, Voodoo was good for a reason. Hey. Bomb a missile. Blammo. Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like there's things you can do with it. Not saying it's a bad or anything, but the Voodoo card was just such a trendsetter. So. Yeah, it's hard to keep up with all that stuff, and I forget what I pick up at PCF, for example. So I have to look back at what I did. Sorry I missed your comment there, Ian, but yeah, thanks. That makes sense. So I guess let me ask this then, a follow-up question to that. Since I have the Gus initialization in a batch file, I'm planning on enabling the other ones too for the other modes. But is there any harm in enabling that? Does that consume memory if I just initialize the Gus every time I start it? Because you notice I missed the batch file several times. Or is it better to just call for it when it's needed versus having it running all the time. Anyway, that's Tyrion. Works great. It feels like the music is close to being amazing, but not quite there compared to like Epic Pinball and stuff where the music is just like, oh man, this is so great. It's, you know, totally amazing. Yeah, we can transfer over Dreamweb. I know you asked about that one. You requested that one. The other one you said was Solar Wind, I think. Did Tempest 2000. Sorry, I was asking Ian about the gust. So what I do is that when the computer starts, the Pico gust is not initialized, but I have a command where I run called gust that then fires it off. And I wasn't sure if it was worth it to, you may notice the name Ian Scott and the name Ian Scott in our chat. So for those who are not aware, that is the creator of Pico gust, and he's a great guy. So, and I wasn't sure if it was worth always initializing it if there's no real drawback, or if it's better to just not do it until you need it to save memory and resources for the games that don't use it. But in most cases here, I'm going to, you know, have it enabled. But I also forgotten it quite a bit. But it's easy enough to just type gust to start it up too. Without the initialization like this, it won't work. So, excuse me. So we're going to fire up the network again. Oops. That's pretty funny. There was a network file in Tyrion. Yeah, it is a little different. I will say that, like, One Must Fall was, like, amazing on the Gus. This sounds different, but I wouldn't say it's, like, superior in the same way, and that's why it's interesting to see. Like, I think that the, we need to try Rise of the Trier, right? That has great music, I think, too. Start getting that ready. Taking a while to get that lease there. Okay, cool. I just put it in AudioX like bat then, so I don't forget it all the time. Going on here? Doesn't run me up against a microphone. I was trying to prepare this here. But why is it not pulling? I think it froze up, no? It's just a thing, like, you never know with DOS if one of the games initialize something that causes a conflict, right? And that's why you almost always have to do, like, a clean boot to make things proper. And I think I'm going to have to do that here now, because the packet drive is initialized, so it has a link, but then trying to ask for a DHCP lease is not happening. And I'm not sure if that's on the computer or if that's my router. I mean, I guess probably the computer, so we'll do a hard reboot. Clear all the memory. But that's good to know. I might just do the Pico Gus all the time then, so, because I mean, I'm going to use it a lot on here. No smart drive here, because that's, you know, drive compression, right? I used to use that as a... Oh, I'm thinking about this drive. Which one am I thinking of? I'm getting confused now. I do not have smart drive running as far as I know. Caching? Maybe. It is whatever that Phil put in his... That's the cool thing with the AutoX6 stuff that he built. With the start menu is that you don't have to really mess with anything. You get as good as you can. I think it does smart drive and everything. We can look at it. But it's a great way to get started with DOS. So it's basically a, you know, you can build a menu like that, no problem. So let's take a look. We have Blaster, sound information, initialize Gus there at the end. I did not want to do that. Oh. Guess initialized or smart drive anything, but yeah. Maybe, yeah. Let's see. I'm curious why before this was fine here now, so we'll see if it just was needed a cold boot or not. Because I've been doing this tons of times now, but for some reason it could also be that, you know, there we go. So it worked fine. So who knows what program, because what happened was I typed network, which is my batch file, but there was a network file within the Tyrion directory, which I bet initialized something that stepped on that. Because the thing is, like, you know, one game might need something and it just fires off something. Well, now the thing you're trying to run is conflicting. So, so we'll do FTP cert. There we go. But yeah, I can maybe try it and see if the transfer speeds increase. Try it first. Yeah, I'm pulling 300k a second or so transferring here. This is a 10 megabit network card, or 10100. So not great. It's convenient, of course, but it's not fast. Like, it's not like, you know, high speed here. And I will say, could maybe mess with smart drive. I imagine some of the settings I have with an FTP client can be messed with as well. Buffer size, you know, send receive buffer, stuff like that. I don't really know what's best there. This works. It's not fast, but I don't know. It works fine. So, and it does, like, I'm sure many of you have done this too, where you play an emulated system or something, or you have a flash drive, whatever it is, on your console or computer, and you have 2,000 games on there, and you're like, what do I play? I don't know. So there's something gratifying with moving stuff slowly. That's how I've been doing with my Amiga. So I mentioned the priority would be like games I'm nostalgic for that I played, games I remember but didn't get a chance to play, and then like stuff I see that's neat. And loading up the system that way instead of just dropping the 4,000 whatever games there are directly on it. I don't know. There's something satisfying about doing that, I guess. Maybe not time efficient, but it does work. Copying Dreamweb as well. But we should try Triad, because I think that supports Gus, if I remember right, and it sounds pretty fantastic. So, hey, Zucro. Played a few games, I guess. Rebooted a few times. Good times. We rebooted more than a few times, actually. It's just the way of DOS. Yeah, the reason I saw that, I remembered all of a sudden, is like, I'm pretty sure not only does Rise of the Triad have great MIDI music, and most MIDI external devices sound great, I'm pretty sure it's got Gus support, right? It's one of those, like, that has music that's like way better than you think. I mean, it's probably like one of the best like soundtracks for DOS games, honestly. It's just amazing. But I keep forgetting about it, so. Because I'll be the one to say that I am not a huge fan of Rise of the Triad as a game. It feels a little flat, especially when you play Doom, Quake, etc. Nothing against the game. It's just, you know, I didn't play it when it came out, so after the fact, it didn't feel as cool to me. So it felt more like Wolfenstein 3D, which is sort of what it was. So, so let's see. Take a look quick. So, all right. EK unzip. Triad.c games factory. There we go. Oh yeah, there's definitely that part that they were having so much fun. I mean, how many rocket launchers are in that game? It's ridiculous, and it's kind of like this. It's a silly atmosphere, which is fine. You know, the dog thing and the god mode and all that stuff, which is perfectly fine. It's just not the one I go to that much to play. I have always tested because it's a fun game to test, but not one that I've played really that far. Let's see, where's our computer sound? Setup. Where's my ultrasound? There it is. Oh yeah. It take a while to initialize. There it is. And really, this feels like one of those games that supports like so much stuff. I think that the game that feels to me that supports the most is almost Descent 2. It feels like it has like sound setups for virtually everything around that time. And it's got, like, support for, like, all different 3D stuff. It's nuts how many things it supports. I think that's probably the most, like, broadly supported game, or the amount of technology they put in that game for reasons, I'm not sure. But you look at that and it supports, like, virtually everything you could want in the 90s, which is great, but was it needed? So, yeah, because, like, I mean, it supported, like, every API. There's, like, Verite versions, there's, you know, yeah, controller support to support all the, like, wonky controllers, the Cybermen, like, you know, all the stuff, you know, the one that John Romero pimped and everything, and it's just, every time I open a setup for Descent 2, I'm a little blown away by how many sound cards and graphic standards it supports. It's insane. We got the Gus version of the Apogee logo. The Triad is indeed rising. Wanton and gratuitous violence. That's how we like it. Gotta have the with that sound effect, of course. Yeah, they clearly had a good time with this. I assume so. They're digging my grave now. I think I left the stove on. I'm a freight train of death. They call me the cleaner. I left the stove on. And really, what I love about this project, I know I keep gushing about it, is just how it expands kind of people's horizons in the sense that, you know, yes, I'm very nostalgic for the ad-lib and the OPL sound and all that stuff, but, like, there's no way that I would possibly afford a Gus short of emulation. And being able to do this with real hardware is amazing. It's really, really cool. You can do this probably, I'm assuming, in DOSBox and emulator and stuff, but being able to do it on real hardware is great. And it opens up the door for a lot more people experiencing it. That's great. I don't have a blast with it, so... There it is. Is there a jukebox in this game? Or is that just the, And if you have watched Civi11 on YouTube, great channel, he uses this as his outro music. You can tell they really had a lot of fun making this. They put so much ridiculousness into it. Oh. Well, it was great. Uh-oh. Ran into a bug or something. Try to set up again. It was weird. I guess so. I'm gonna guess that's a software issue more than the... Yeah, the computer actually froze. We'll give it a second. I think it's coming back now. Ooh, memory allocation error. Yeah, something crashed here. Run out of memory or something. Who needs command com? That's fine. Hard reset. That's the thing, too, is like you go back to this era, it's really hard to know if it's a computer problem or just, you know, software, the version, you know, what your drivers are. It's just there's so many things that could go wrong, you know, in these games from this era. There's always something. And I remember as a kid, just like you ran into an error, like, I don't know what to do. You're lucky you knew someone who was sort of handy with it, or, you know, you find guides in magazines, or a game allowed you to create a boot disk, which is probably the best. I know a lot of LucasArts games let you do that. I'm gonna start with less drivers loaded here. The executable. Rocks. Keyboard works again now. still want to initialize. But yeah, same time, I can't swear this computer is 100% stable. I mean, it has been pretty good so far, but there we go. Try it again. And I really should put a hard drive emulator in this machine. It has a real spinning disk, and I know that's kind of like asking for trouble eventually, but it's part of the experience. Let's see, it was... Heat goes enable. There we go. Oh, is it the, I could have sworn there was more tracks in this one than this. Yeah, this is all there is. No next page. I could have sworn there was more here. Oh, there. I am the smartest ever. And there's so many of these here that are just... Feels like they're both made for the Gus. I mean, especially the Epic Games ones with the pinball and things like that. Obviously, one must fall. But for me, it's like the same way when you experience General MIDI the first time, whatever that might be, real hardware, emulation, whatever. When you listen to Doom and all those ones, again, it's just like rediscovering the games. And that's what the Pico Gus does for me, is rediscovering these games that support ultrasound, and being able to mess with it like this is fantastic. I forgot how many tracks are in this game. There's so many tracks. How many did he... Oops, that's not what I wanted. How many they put in here? It feels like they... You know, they did more than they had to in this game. Definitely feels like so. But you can tell again, they had really fun making it, so. Look at a few other games on the list here. The pinball games, a lot of them have really good music. You know, Epic does for sure, and then the pinball games come to mind me for the or Digital Illusions games with, you know, Pinball Illusion, Fantasies, all that stuff. Does Raptor support Gus? Find out. Prepping it. Anyway, it's just, I like the experience of, like, prepping a game and transferring one at a time, if you will. It's convenient to drop down, like, you know, 150 games on here right away, but if there's something deliberate about, you know, preparing a game, copying it, whatever it might be, and just seeing it, it has a little bit closer to that, like, feel of originally installing it versus, again, you fire up a flash card, and I have that for other systems, too, where... Or the Mister, like, here's all the games ever made. Which one do you play? You almost need a randomizer to do that for you, just to kind of take the guesswork out of figuring out which one you want to play. So, oh, this is the one that I think is a good one. Island 2 only does, like, AdLib, I think, on PC. It doesn't have Gus support, but... This is a great track. This is the one I think of mostly, and this is one that sounds... I mean, this soundtrack is great with General MIDI as well. really fun era for sound. You think about how many options there were and how many different standards that were supported on a lot of these DOS games. So, ooh, nice. Okay, which one? What's the favorite? Drop in chat if you want to. What's your favorite soundtrack for the DOS era? Or one of your favorite. I'm not gonna. I don't like putting people on the spot with saying like, you know, what is your pure favorite, but. It's funny thinking about it myself. I may have to go Command and Conquer. I just love the industrial rock with Frank Kopacki in that one, and I remember rocking out. Well, that and Crusade No Remorse. Man, that's hard. Didn't ask questions I'm not ready to answer myself. Command and Conquer is just so great. Ooh, Red Alert is great. First time Hell March comes on, I remember as a kid getting that. I haven't played Command & Conquer 1 through and through. Red Alert comes out, install that. The installer is so great, and then you get that Hell March. Like, oh my word. This is beyond fantastic. Retro Dome music, I guess I asked the right question. Yeah, I love Regret and No Remorse. And I think we may have to do that now with the Cube player, but the intro to that is just so amazing. Awesome, thank you. The intro for Crusade No Remorse and No Regret are just so good. Dome 66, okay. That rings a bell, but I can't place the game, so check it out then. It's fascinating to me. Oh, nice. It's fascinating to me how many standards and things like that were around here, because, you know, you take that for granted almost in more modern systems where, you know, it sounds similar. But here, in this era on PC, things could look and sound extremely different based on your hardware. And that's what made it exciting, I guess. Especially here now, EcoGust, like, okay, there's a completely different sound. You're not going to get a very different sound of your, even if you have integrated audio on your computer versus, you know, an external sound card, whatever. It might sound cleaner, but it's not going to be like this completely different sound, right? Back then with General MIDI as well, I mean, it was so varying. I talked to my wife about that quite a bit, because she would, you know, pick a random one. She would compose music on her Sound Blaster with MIDI, and then she would bring it to her friend who had like an ultrasound, like see what it sound like, or maybe I'm misrepresenting that story, but it was so different. Or like, what is it going to sound on my sound card? I think this is turning into a EcoGust stream again. I'm just looking through random games because I want to, if anything that looks interesting. Don't know if any of the pinball illusions in those games supported Gus. I don't think so. It doesn't seem like that's something they would do. And that's for me a very Amiga-like too, so I would like to load up more DOS games on here, but in the end, you get so many it's hard to keep track. Yeah, it was just fantastic. Oh yeah, we'll definitely do a stream again. Let's see what I have. So this is the, camera real quick, find it. This is the MT32 Pi. So all of this in here right now is just a Pi. I'm waiting for the hat. Once that arrives, then we can actually use this to emulate an MT32 on this machine. It's upside down. I just printed this, and that's what I love, the fact that, you know, having a 3D printer, you can just kind of spit this out real quick. And the developer, the manufacturer of this, or they provide the STL file for it, so it's great to be able to do that. I'm trying to think, is there like some top-down racing games from that era too that have that kind of music? I'm trying to think now, but We may have to apologize for this flopping around here. Yes, it will. It comes with the OLED screen built in, so I thought anyway. We'll find out. Oh, that's right, Death Rally, a Death Race, Death Rally. By now that we mention it, I must listen to Crusade No Remorse intro on the Gus. Maybe that's a staple for every stream we do now. Just... Scaling is all off here, but whatever. Solution is... That's 9.754 hertz. Death Rally. I love this, even on the Sound Blaster rendition or whatever. I mean, it's still a mod file, but my cousin and I used to put this on the menu and just rock out. Yeah, the whole soundtrack is you know, not exactly like this, but not too far off. And I know that, I think I asked last time, but I think it feels richer in sound. Build up. Probably because I think Ian, you mentioned last time, was that the game was probably encoded in 22 kilohertz and this is 44, so it sounds cleaner here. Yeah, it's great. They did a remix of this for the second game, then No Regret, which is almost the same but more enhanced, better. I recommend checking those soundtracks out. They're amazing. That's to listen to this day. But what I do now sometimes is that when this 46 is hooked up back here in my normal setup, I will turn this on and just put one of these mod tracks when I'm cleaning or tinkering around down here and just have it in the background. It's great. Between the Amiga and this, it provides a lot of music entertainment. So, right, I think that goes on for a lot of these. I just picked a random song, but this whole soundtrack is amazing. I love the fact that they did mod tracker music, and it makes it sound unique compared to the other games that came out at the time. Compared to like just using, you know, ad-lib or say OPL, I guess, or MIDI music. Like a commercial product that uses mod music. I don't think I've had one of these that doesn't sound amazing, because all the epic stuff, you know, anything that uses mod music out of the gate, like Unreal Tournament, you know, sounds amazing. They're just great soundtracks, and I almost wish that there was like a set of games that would use mod tracker music. I'm trying to encourage my wife to create some mod tracker for myself, so. Holy cow. Well, yeah, hopefully everyone's safe in the path of the hurricane. It's ridiculous. But yeah, if you haven't played Crusader games, definitely give them a try. They're actually reported to PlayStation and Saturn as well, but very different, because in the PC version, which couldn't do smooth scrolling at the time, very well at least, they just jump screen to screen. SVGA graphics, great, but on the Saturn and the PS1, it's a fully smooth scrolling one in 240p. It's pretty cool. Very different, but kind of the same. I hope everyone stays safe, so... Okay, let's do some more networking. Yeah, that storm's coming in pretty hot. Best of luck to anyone in the path of it. These hurricanes just keep coming closer and closer and more often, it looks like. FT. Sorry. Hmm. Okay. Yeah, and it's also like, for someone who doesn't live there, you think like was pretty much hitting the whole state, but hurricanes are broad, but they at least are not, maybe affect the whole state at the same time. And I know it's going to come up pretty far up inland too. This one, and it's just they have a lot of strength and power before they come in, so crazy. Yeah, that's a big one. Hoping for the best everyone who's in the path, and hope everyone stays safe. Get tornadoes here, but hurricanes are something else. Like tornadoes are, destructive, but they're usually pretty narrow in scope. A hurricane can be such a devastating, broad impact. Especially the storm surge and everything from the water. It's awful. Glad you're safe, Revenant, but I hope everyone else is safe as well if you're listening to this. So, Death Rally here now. Again, it's not fast, but yeah, maybe we'll try the smart drive at some point to see if it will go better. But it works. I would like to set up the parallel port zip drive on this just because it's fun. It's handy to have for certain scenarios as well, especially if you transfer something big. If I would transfer something big on this one, it would take a long time. The zip drive would be faster for that, for sure. Transfer? Yeah. Oh, that's fine. It's scary stuff, but yeah, that's the thing. Is like when you get to those winds, and interesting enough, here in the Midwest, here, it's we don't usually get sustained winds. It's more wind gusts because we're in the plains here, and things blow in really quickly and they blow through. So that's why tornadoes happen here fairly frequently because it's air masses are mixing. What happened here a few months ago was that we were actually out of town when it happened, but a sustained wind of like over 100 miles an hour was happening for a long time, and that's like no one here remembers that ever happening. Very unusual, and that caused a lot of damage because once again you get those sustained winds that knocks down fences and trees, and we lost a tree because of it. I was already half dead, I guess, but fences everywhere, trampolines flying, and there was a lot of damage. It was the biggest power outage event I think that this town has like ever had. They had to call in every power line truck in the whole state basically to fix it up, and they did an amazing job. But there was like the whole town was without power, and that's unusual for here. Usually a tornado again is localized somewhat, so when you get those straight line winds sustained, that's the thing that's just it's caused so much havoc, and that's where you don't realize how damaging a hurricane is. So if you don't live in it, not that I have. So let's see, temp. Okay, unzip a temp rally. Zip. Games. I had to learn to how to uncompress LHA files on Amiga, and that was interesting because, and we'll do that when we stream it eventually. But it's just once you get into a platform you're not as familiar with, it takes a little more learning. But once you get used to it, it's not that bad, and the command line is not too dissimilar. So let's have unzip Dreamweb. Did we already extract that one? Copy, that was Raptor. Raptor. I don't know if we extracted Dreamweb or not. I think I started on it, but I never finished it. But yeah, we'll get to try that here before the end of the night, I guess. But first off, I got Death Rally. It supports a Gus here, which I think it sounds like it does. Gravis Ultrasound, yes please. Rally. Oh, we're down to 1.3 gig now. That's kind of a problem. We haven't really installed that many big games, I guess. I mean, music is there, but it sure is quiet. Remedy? Were they involved in Death Rally? Huh. Shows how much I know. If there's a setting for music volume in the game or something, because it is very low here. You know, I feel like I knew that, but apparently I forgot to repress it. Read it somewhere, but... And we'll leave it with keyboard controls. I want to hear the music here, so... Oh, that's totally me.
Speed makes me dizzy.
And I love top-down racing games. I'm not sure why I never really sat down to play this, because like, it's just up my alley. It reminds me of, pretty sure about, like, rock and roll racing. Nice. I can't sign up for them, so... Okay, that was too slow. There we go. Just sign up immediately. And crash. No. We'll see.
Get ready to go.
Oh, it's not running so smooth. Oh. The music is cool, but I feel this is probably more of a Penchimera game. They got some nice, like, graphics and everything, so... I got a horn. Oops. Should probably look where I'm driving. Doing great so far. Liking my chances here. On the easiest difficulty too, I might add. I'm going for it. Turbo! Turbo man. Wow. Yeah, I did not do so hot on that one. That music's cool. Remedy has been they've done a lot of cool stuff. They've had a really good run here lately too, with some killer games like Control and Alan Wake 2 and everything. Did not do so hot on that one. Position 20. Great. Good resolution, too. I'm surprised how clean it is. Repair. Better tires. I don't know what it is with just these kind of games. I just love the upgrading and stuff between, and it's a really fun progression way, I guess, to get better and stuff, or get more gear. The pause music in between is even better than the track music.
Get ready to go.
Go, boss. Jerks. Oh, it's hard to live stream racing games because it's hard to put a focus. Like Micro Machines enhanced. Oops, sorry, ran a guy over there. Sorry. Here's the thing, is like I was aware of this game, never really sat down to play it. I really should do that with more of these games. That's what I want to do with this machine, is like explore a lot of the games that I didn't really play. If I missed them, you know, if I just didn't see them, whatever it was. They support some cool music, then even better. Definitely has a GTA feel to it, because it's got that same kind of scalar look to it. Oh, number one. Lines. Oh, dang it. I am going for it. I think the blood splatter is still there. The thing that's a challenge with these kind of games is that is the game too fast so you can't like really see what's going on, or it's hard to keep up with the action, hard to control, that kind of stuff. And that's what makes the oh wow, it's explodinated. What happens a lot with the Amiga games like this, because they're so fast, it's really hard to play. Come on, come on. I made it. Look, Mom, I made it. Yeah, this is a fun game, and this is the kind of stuff I want to do, but it also highlights really the difference between, maybe because I have it sitting right next there, but it's just like the 2D graphics and stuff like that from the Amiga days, and you go to the 46 and what it could do, and this is, of course, a later game for that, but the jump was dramatic, because this is better than anything the Amiga could do, even with the AGA graphics, and it has some games similar to it, but they just fell behind. And at that point, it shows you really why the PC on the computer side was what took over. You know, again, powerful processor, Sound Blaster support, hard drive, standard, you know, that kind of stuff. Gave you a compelling package that no other computer type could match. And the PC took off, you know, it's still going. Pressed any key. All right, position 19. Sweet. Moving up in the world. We're right above Farmer Ted. Yes, I got some money, but I don't have any. Yeah. Sabotage. Do one more race and then probably call it for a Death Rally. We're going to try Dreamweb before tonight for sure. Over. Hear more of that track. Oh, did it crash? All right, Mike Boy, thanks for stopping by. Let's start. See you later.
Get ready to go.
Ready to go. Definitely not smooth by a long shot. Feeling this is a game that's much better played on a later Pentium machine, but at the same time, again, I keep saying, like, you would have been more than happy enough to play this. This was on your family computer, you know. Plays a lot better than a lot of the early 3D games on PC did if you didn't have any good video card rights, so... It's funny, you remember back to the days when software rendering and stuff, and you got a new computer, and... like, the difference in game performance was, like, ridiculous. I know that you can't get that with the GPU today, an upgrade and stuff like that. But I remember with the PC, it's like every time I got a new computer or a new processor, I had to try the old games to see how fast they ran. And of course, you can still do that today with the new GPU upgrade, but there's something different about it with the CPUs doing it. Yay! Yeah, it is. There's a lot of detail. And I was always surprised that it's got the 3D effect and rendering on a lot of these maps. It's still surprising. Yeah, there's so many cool DOS games. And I know, again, DOS has gotten a lot more attention lately. At least it feels like to me than it used to. But there's a lot of unexplored games, I think, on the platform. You know, there's some really obscure and some real stinkers on here, too. I'm not going to say everything is great, you know. Ooh, nice. Yeah, I mean, AGA then will be, for those not aware, will be the last thing that Amiga tried to do, or Commodore, with the advanced, I can't remember what they call it. Advanced Graphics Array or something like that. I don't remember what it stood for. But it was supposed to be the, you know, upgrade to the Amiga normal video system, and it just was not keeping up, you know. But then you're starting to get into accelerated territory on the PC side, and it just the PC had outpaced it far beyond at that point, and they hadn't made enough realistic improvements to what was so impressive in the beginning. So, you know, you can only go on your laurels so far when things around you are going even faster, when consoles are getting more powerful, when PCs are just flying at that point. So it's unfortunate, and maybe we would have got an Amiga still going around, but there's many things around their mismanagement and poor choices and whatnot. So yep, that sounds about right. Oh, this was set up. Okay. Oh, we got ultrasound. There we go. Rap. Ninja. Rap. I ate that up wholeheartedly. I was into Turtles at the time when Turtles 2 came out, and Vanilla Ice was ninja rapping. I thought it was so cool. All Carnage. Oh, it has to be on a different drive? Really? Can't install to the same drive? Annoying. Has to be extracted. 12 meg. Pain. You have to do, you can do a drive redirect or burn to a CD or something, so I guess we won't do that right now. I don't think we got Dreamweb then, no. So let's take care of that. They did say we're going to play it, so. Oh, there we go. Yep. And that's the thing is like, it has a lot of potential in it, and in a vacuum, it's pretty cool, but it's not fantastic. So yeah, I can try that. I'm not sure if it's gonna. With the sign, you can do that. Try and see if it does it. So assign sign E. But this is for swapping for an entire drive. Can you do that for directory? I think there's a different one, right? This is for reassigning an entire drive. So it will basically, if it redirects the whole drive, that's going to be a problem. But I think there's a way to do this for directory, isn't there? I think if I do assign C, yeah, it might be subst. Sounds right. Yeah, there we go. Let's see. There we go. Oh, it just drops in a directory. But yeah, there we go. Thank you for that reminder. So what we're doing now is we're basically saying the E drive is just a redirect to this directory, but it lets you do this in some cases like here, where it's basically forcing you to install from a different drive, even though you have it on the same drive, you know. If we get a bit further this time, called to the Carnage directory. Remember why it was called Carnage here. Huh. File ID out there. New inst bat. Interesting. Well, welcome back. Hmm. That should be included there, you think. Like packed or something, but it's weird. That's a file that's in tons of stuff. Oh, come on. I put like a batch file in the root. Really? Kind of annoying. Don't mess up my drive. Anyway, we'll copy, I might have to get another version or something, but I know that that file should be, able to have that somewhere else, so. Versus a convenient again. Yeah, we're gonna try the Dreamweb, and we'll probably call it's getting pretty late here as well. Past 11:30. I'm sure there's a lot of other time zones. Suka should go to bed if you're still up because it's very late where you are. It's easy to just keep going, but definitely no one should feel the need to stick around. So if they want to go to bed, but yeah, it's I don't know. I just really enjoy kind of exploring a platform that I haven't messed with too much. Now, said I've done lots of DOS stuff. No denying that. But doing a pure DOS machine, I don't know why I got the hankering for it. I think, again, I keep comparing it to the Amiga and the Atari and stuff. I think it's just, it was so close to it, and DOS was such a broad, like, it was a ton of games for DOS. And, you know, I got my teeth mostly on the Windows side, you know, 9X and later XP and stuff like that. So doing a pure DOS machine is familiar, yet at the same time, new for me, in the sense that it's just, I never had a pure DOS machine. If I can avoid installing Windows on this thing. I'll say, are you ever going to get back on a regular sleep cycle? Yep, exactly. Keep the ball rolling. Just get more coffee. That works. Trying to overcompensate from the previous day of poor choices. Of course, it's an installer. Should have seen that. Right? Oh. Okay. Oh, Drive E is pretty funny. Drive C. Continue. Minimum. Well, need to run again with less memory. Or we need more conventional memory available. And that's the thing that happens a lot of the time. I feel like some games from this era were not super optimized, and they needed a lot of memory, and that was a pain. One that I tried fairly recently, it was Masters of Magic. I was just trying to mess with it, and it's kind of like a Civilization 1 / Colonization that has a magical photo paint on it. And it's just super picky about the memory. It's just crazy how picky it is. Dreamweb for me is one that I knew from, if it is the same one, I think it is. We had someone request it in Discord, but it is a top-down, like cyberpunk-esque Shadowrun style adventure game or whatever. I haven't played it more than just messing with it, so. But I know that was one that was requested, and it's a good DOS game. But for me, this is an Amiga game almost, because that's where I've seen it the most. It's often listed as one of the best on the Amiga for this kind of type, so. Yeah, there's so many cool games to experience, and ones that you haven't seen or whatever, because the problem with DOS, I guess, is there's a lot of shovelware crap, right? And nice web browser, yeah. Yeah, if it is the same game, maybe I'm incorrect here, but I'm pretty sure that the Dreamweb game comes up pretty often on Amiga as one of the top ones because of the atmosphere and everything. So, wow, you have to actually specify. Do not have a Soundmaster compatible card. i7. You got to specify that during every one. Annoying. Just dropped everything in here. Dreamweb. Oh, that's right. We need more memory. Yeah, we have to reboot so we can get more memory. Oh, the network ran. That's why. I'm gonna do a hard reboot because every time we do a soft one, we get problems. So, power switch. Gotta wait for the drive to spin down. I really should play this one too because I have seen it mentioned a lot, and I can't say I played it more than just testing it. And it seems like it's got a great atmosphere and style and everything. But it's still limited by the time, especially considering what's done on Amiga. It's just the view field is pretty small, stuff like that, and it's very. It looks like if you compare it to today, a slower Hotline Miami. That's the style it has, like just straight top down or whatever. Or if you played the Shadowrun on the Genesis as top down, or the Shadowrun on the Super Nintendo when you have the in the cyberspace stuff. What I remember now. Yep. That's what makes this thing from Phil's Computer Lab so convenient, because you don't have to muck around as much. If you just follow the setup and get it ready, now you have a way to get virtually as much memory as you possibly could get with the stuff you need. So, that's true. Let's see, i7, because that's where the Sound Blaster is. So, solution is 40x480, huh? This is a very moody game, if I remember right. It's quite like leading into the Blade Runner style quite heavily. Yeah, and just a little loud. There's a bypass or line in I feel like the audio is like clipping, not just as loud, but it's clipping. So let's see what the volume is in the game if there is. So the Pico Gus goes into the line in on the Sound Blaster, and the Sound Blaster speaker out, then it's what goes to the speaker system. So that's the daisy chain they're using. So yeah, you're not wrong there. Great atmosphere. And that's something that, for example, like, I think I use it as an example, but the intro in a real tournament, it doesn't matter what you do, but the voice recording there is clipping. Like, the way they record it is like when the lady, in 2150 blah blah blah, you know, a no-holds-barred fighting league. It's always clipping. That's real annoying, but I think it's just the way they record it, you know. Once the data is lost from the clip, then what can they do? I wonder if there's a volume setting in the game here somewhere. DOS graphics are just really unique, and you can do a lot of cool stuff. There were some gorgeous DOS games. Of course, fond memories of the point-and-click adventure games, but, like... There's some story here, probably. Fries are done. Fries. I'm so confused. I'm sure if you play the game, you understand. Oh, the 7. Yep, gotcha. It's like when you're in a work meeting and you haven't listened to a word they said and you're trying to pretend you did. Like, yeah, oh yeah, that thing. Yeah, we should shift those paradigms immediately. Wow, great atmosphere. I know that we have had a resurgence in pixel art games and everything, and that's great. There's so much character that can be portrayed in good pixel art. So I'm glad that's come back. Compared to, like, you know, against 3D, and I have nothing against 3D per se, or 2.5D games that can be really good too. But just hand-drawn pixels and hand-done pixels just look great. And some games that, like, use a... Oh, this is clipping, my goodness. Can we get into some sound settings here? This is ridiculous. Yeah, so it's like this cool... I wanted a shirt. Yeah, it's got a great atmosphere, and again, I haven't played it that long, but I really should. What sound is going on there? Let me try, and we can launch it again, but I really want to see if we can reduce the volume through the Sound Blaster mixer. Let's see. Let's just turn everything down and see what's going on here. I'm not sure which one is using, but nothing was set to max either, so... I don't think there's any setting to figure it. Yeah, I probably should. Save some time. Yeah, I don't think it's clipping anymore. I know that the volume's pretty low here. Now, hang on. A little crunchy, but... really crunchy audio. That's weird. Yeah, I definitely will. Save some time too, because it's not messing with the gust more now. I haven't messed with too much with this one, but oh, it's not as crunchy. So we're not gonna mess with too much tonight, but um, yeah, I think it sounds better. Yeah. Yeah, it's you know, it's almost like a top-down point-and-click adventure game, right? But yeah, one that should need to pick up things. Can I pick up things? Like my thing. But yeah, it really goes heavy in the Blade Runner style atmosphere and everything. But it's one of those games like you have to really get into, right? So I open the door. Ah. You run. Come on. I don't want to use the desk. My wallet. Yep. At least it's got a little... I'm not sure if you guys see that, but in the bottom left corner, it zooms in. Off again. Aha, there we go. Oh, just magazine and a brush. Oh, zoom control. Yeah, pretty much. Maybe. Or to G. Hmm. CD box. Fine. Taking this. I need it. It was like you're playing, you know, these point-and-click adventure games. You just pick up everything you can. Fine. Taking my stuff. It really is. Where's the wallet? Cash card. Yeah, it's like you gotta, like, just experiment, right? Cartridge. Examine button. Use button. I have a feeling I've forgotten something. There's a key in the micro cooker. Okay. Sure. That's where we'd put a key, right? I love little animations and like the, you know, the movement of the character, stuff like that. It's just great. How much French. Car is broken. Nice, atmosphere here. Oh, that was great. I really should sit down and play this. Huh. At the bar. Goodness. And it certainly had some interesting, Sparky. It's great. Oh, all right. I'm not gonna go too deep in it because it's clearly not a game that you just kind of casually play, kind of get into it properly. I really should give this a fair shake for real. We can either play it at the stream at some point, or probably a good one to just play. But it's clearly a very Blade Runner type of game. The feel to it, for sure. Not to mention that the guy almost looks like a Blade Runner himself, or Snatcher, as it were. I wish you could walk around, though, just... How's it going, drunk man? Take all the mugs, of course. I'm real curious to see how this runs in a meeting. I gotta try it there. I have a feeling it doesn't run nearly as smooth. Because, I mean, keep comparing it, but the difference between the Amiga and the 46 series is pretty stark, so... It's a really cool game. I really gotta check it out more. Can't make him, like, talk, though, like the Mentat does. He's got the zoom in thing. It helps quite a bit. Game. Whoop, and out. Like, jumped right there. You don't have to stay here, but you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here, basically. But I think we might, whoops. And I think we might call it there. Get everyone hanging out and taking another look at the 46. I do love this machine, and I love the simplicity of it. The Gus, of course, expands the usability of it dramatically, but it's still just, you know, a lot of people had a 4666. Has a little extra memory, a little bigger hard drive. But otherwise, it's, you know, your typical thing from the era, and it's great. We're playing with it, so... which is why right now it's has a kind of like, I'm going to say permanent spot, but at least one of my 4 retro computers is set up all the time because the 46 is so iconic and so many cool things to play on it. And I put more games on it like this. And again, I think it's really fun to compare the differences between a few years from the previous kings of the platforms, or just to have a Power Mac right next to it as well, which is fun to compare which games are good on it or not. And these average machines, right? They were at the top of the line. A 4666 was top of the line at one point. But by the time most people had one, it was not the fastest machine around. Home computer, whatever it might be. So, but I appreciate everyone hanging out this week again. Yeah, we'll play some more DOS games some other time, but I appreciate everyone hanging out. I've said it several times now. But I hope everyone has a good weekend, and hopefully see everyone next week. We'll figure out what we're going to stream then. Probably something different now. I'm kind of done with the 46 for now, but we'll see what happens. So, thanks everyone. Have a good night, good weekend, and I'll see everyone next week and online. Good night, everyone.